Keith Fraser for Seconds Out, here with legendary journalist and, of course, broadcaster now, Gareth A. Davies. Gareth, how are we doing?
Very good, thank you, Keith. Lovely to see you.
You too. Listen, Gareth, obviously, we can just get straight down to it. This fight on Saturday night, it's a 50-50 fight. I don't want to know who you fancy.
I see it as a 60-40 in favour of Joshua Buatsi. I'm not writing Dan Azeez off because he's quite capable of doing it. Just watching him work away here at Camden Boxing Club in the gym at the moment on workout day. I just think Dan's one of the most improved boxers in British boxing in the last 2 or 3 years. He's earned this right. I think Joshua Buatsi, for me, has always been headed towards world level. For both of them, this is that fight that shows what level of world level they are. I see a 12-round fight. I see it very close. I see both men being stretched, and I just see Buatsi pipping it.
Well, I kind of agree with that, but of course, I genuinely think this is going to be a really close one.
Yeah.
I mean, look,
it could be the making of each other. They could end up in a trilogy. You never know. Could be one of those friends, enemies. Now they're frenemies.
Exactly. But then, of course, we've got so much stuff going on outside. You've got Callum Smith. You've got Anthony Yard, and I know that there's talk about Buatsi as he's the winner of that fighting Anthony Yard. Is that the way you would go? Because obviously they want to get down and fight the winner of Better BF, I should pronounce it correctly, against Bivol.
Yeah, look at the options you just outlined there. We believe June the 1st for Better BF and Bivol in Saudi Arabia. That's what's been tentatively announced. I just think that unless Callum Smith and Anthony Yard get tied up in this Warren Hearn 5 versus 5 event, I think the next fight is probably Anthony Yard. Craig Richards is around as well. Let's not forget him. Lyndon Arthur's around as well. It's a talent-rich division with lots of great matchups. Buatsi's fought Richards before, of course. So if Dan Azeez were to win, you could see that happening. Look, it's a division that will have a very good year, I believe, because they are all moving and fighting each other now. Buatsi coming to Boxer and Sky has created this fight. He's had a very slow burn since the Olympic bronze medal, and this is his time. I think it's the right time for him as well, because if he wins this, I think he just stays at world level after that.
But of course, Azeez is 34, I think, so he's at this sort of, I don't mean to be disrespectful, probably the fag end of his career. Going towards it, shall we say.
He's very weather-worn, though. He's not got loads of miles on the clock. Yeah. And he's a very busy, physical individual. Didn't have a massively long amateur career. You know, I think he gave up, I think he's got a degree in finance from memory. And he was going a different way. There's a lot of energy and there's a lot of joy around him. He reminds me of he's got that very happy laugh and that happy energy that Frank Bruno used to have. And I think a lot of the self-belief and spirit in Dan Azeez, I count as one of the big factors that could win him this fight. The joy in himself, the belief in himself, the fact he's on a mission. Buatsi's under more pressure. More people, like you say, more insiders will give that pick I've given on Buatsi because naturally he's had the pedigree all the way up. But Azeez has caught him up, if you like. It's a fascinating fight.
I think it's a great fight. And look, the one last thing I want to say, because I know that you're busy and I just dragged you away from one of the workouts. And
you don't want to get a parking
Correct.
Ever.
Exactly.
They are so hot. This is my manor. They are hot. If you park a bicycle in the wrong place, you're going to prison. You know?
Tell me about it. I've had plenty. But one last thing. We've obviously got another light heavyweight talent on Saturday night in Ben Whittaker. And they reckon he's going to be fast-tracked and could be in line to fight one of these guys, the Yards, the Smiths, and the guys from Saturday night. And a guy who I mentioned to Spencer Oliver earlier, Ezra the Cannon Taylor, who I know fancies himself as the man going forward. This is a division that's so exciting for Britain, right?
It's talent-rich. It's sexy. Ben Whittaker is a brilliant young star. I think they're moving him along right. I think he's a year away from fighting these guys. But his movement, his size, his athleticism, his physique, the fact he's developing haters as well as lovers all the time because of that showman, flashy, over the top, showboating style of his, very reminiscent of what Nazim Mohammed used to do. You know, the flexible hips, the outlandish. I mean, in Bournemouth, he came out to the Black Swan and Ballerina, didn't he? Amazing.
He doesn't sort of somersault over the ropes yet.
He doesn't somersault over the ropes, but what he does inside the ropes, his movement is incredible. And we can't wait to see these purer boxers against his style. But I still think it's a year away. But like you say, we've got the conveyor belt talent, a rich vein of talent coming through at 175.
Well, listen, Gareth, I would love to carry on talking to you another time. I'm sure we will.
You give me the microphone, you go and get your car, and I'll carry on. And we are looking forward to this event in Wembley on Saturday night. It's been great to speak to Keith. It's always a pleasure to speak to Seconds Out. He's gone. I'm going to stay here. My regards to Danny Flexen. I'll see you later on in the week, my friend. All the fans of SecondsOut.com. It's always a pleasure to be with you. One of the old standing YouTube channels. I'm picking Buatsi on points on Saturday night, but also looking forward to Adam Azim and particularly Fran Hennessy as well, the daughter of Mick Hennessy, who I think could revolutionise the women's division in the next few years. Charm, charisma, and real great boxing skills. Out.